Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and as you can see, we have ourselves quite a healthy dose of these Grossmos Dinosaur figures. So, when I first got a hold of a few of these, I did a review on them, but it wasn't the entire line, and I actually kind of took a break from buying them. Although they were really neat, they were $10 a piece, and, I just felt like it was, I don't know if I would say a little much for them, because they're still really good quality figures, and I guess they do come with a good amount of fun to them, especially if you're a kid, but it's not like it's the most appealing line in the world as far as the sculpts and paint and everything goes, so I didn't immediately go back and finish the line. However, recently I was looking around on Target's website and I noticed that these were actually on sale for $3, which I thought was crazy that they were like $3 and some odd cents on there. Considering they were originally $10, they had dropped the price drastically for some sort of a sale they had going on that day, and I thought, well, for $3, I might as well grab some and maybe complete my line. The only problem is, I can't actually check the figures when I buy them online. If I were able to make it to the store that day, I could have actually purchased them in store, and there is a way to tell what figures are in what dinosaurs, but I did not have the opportunity to get to the store, so I had to basically just go into it blind. So I just bought a whole bunch of them here. As you can see, I have 9 overall that I purchased, and I think there's a decent chance I should complete the line, but I don't want to speak too soon because honestly, I don't really know for sure. But again, I just grabbed a whole bunch of them because they were really cheap at that point in time, and whatever ones I don't need, if it's an extra or something, I'll just keep for maybe some sort of a custom I'll create. Maybe I'll give it to my son or my niece because she's also a big fan of dinosaurs. Who knows? There's lots I could do with them, but I figured I might as well take a chance at going and grabbing all of them. But you can see, as far as the packaging goes, they are stored in a skull. Now, we have already gone over this in the past, so we don't really need to go over it again, but, obviously a quick refresher isn't going to hurt. You can basically see they are stored in a Tyrannosaurus Rex skull, and there's like a sort of a slime-looking kind of outer packaging to it. Now, the way to actually tell what dinosaurs are inside, unfortunately, there's no codes or anything that I know of that you can look at when it comes to these tags. All you really need to do is force the mouth open, and you can kind of get a sneak peek as far as what dinosaur is inside. So I can see that this is a skeleton, which instantly means that this one is one that I don't have. I'm definitely not going to go through the trouble of... Wow, that's not opening for some reason. There we go, just had to tear it off there. But I'm not going to go through the trouble of opening these up and, filling up the slime and all of that stuff. We did do that in the initial reviews, so I don't feel like we really need to do that again this time around. Basically, just open these up and see if I get all of the dinosaurs from the line overall. So, obviously, we have one here that is, again, a skeleton. I think it's the T-Rex. I don't remember what all dinosaurs are in the line as a whole. I do remember that I have quite a few, though. Let's just get all these pieces out, see if we can find a slip in here that tells me what dinosaurs are in the line. So here is the slip basically telling us what all we have. Now, I do have most of them already, honestly. I think the ones I'm missing, one of which was this skeleton, also this crazy looking Ceratopsian, the Parasaurolophus, and the Stegosaurus, and I think my line would then be complete, but who knows? I mean, considering there are 8 to collect and I've got 9, I may have them all right here. So here is our T-Rex skeleton, and as we can see, it looks pretty cool, actually. The figures are honestly fairly decent for what they are. Obviously, they're definitely not going to be any award-winning, scientifically accurate dinosaurs, but they're just basically goofy dinosaurs. We have a very short tail for our T-Rex, and I think the figures as a whole all sort of have that going on. I don't think they're, no articulated jaw or anything, but it has like a sort of a dirty wash to it that definitely helps to add a dirty, sort of realistic, maybe like it was just recently excavated from the earth sort of a look. It does have articulation in the legs, which is nice. Again, you can go forward and back, and then same deal for the arms, again forward and back, so some okay articulation. The body is actually a rubber as well, so you can flex that quite a bit, and I need to readjust those legs so I can get it standing back there. So let's pop the next one open. So there we go, we have the slime outer kind of packaging thing off of it, and you can see again the T-Rex skull does look pretty cool, and we'll get a sneak peek as far as what we have in this one. Well, not even a sneak peek, we'll just find out. Actually, I think this is the large yeah, it definitely is. It's the large Ceratopsian that I also didn't have, so I'm on pretty much a roll at this point, doing pretty good with these. And I may end up actually completing the line overall before I'm done here. Though I will say, if for some reason I couldn't actually finish the line here, that would be a little bit of a travesty after buying so many of these. But this guy does look quite interesting. So there is our very crazy looking Ceratopsian, and I will say, it sometimes is really neat to have that rubber real feel body. Other times it is an absolute curse because it's actually kind of hard at times to get the limbs on these figures, specifically this leg. Boy, did I ever have such a hard time getting that on there. But again, no jaw articulation or anything. There is only the articulation of all four legs, forward and back. But again, sculpt-wise, it's a pretty cool figure. And there's actually quite a bit of paintwork on this one. As you can see, we have a green for the majority of the body color. We have a red eye, and there is actually a little bit of extra color with some black and stuff added in there to the eye. We can see the nostrils are sculpted really quite massively, but I think that may have something to do with the slime. Like, I don't know if maybe slime would hang out of his nose. I'm not going to bother trying because I'm not really too interested in the slime aspect. And again, I've already done that in the previous review. But when you actually go through the figure, you have some pretty cool orangish tones, especially up there in the frill of our Ceratopsian. You also can see all of the spikes, the crazy amount of spikes that we have over the top of that massive exaggerated frill are all quite nicely painted with a light sort of a white tone. Same deal for the horns. The beak as well is painted. You have a dark, very, very dark kind of like maroonish tone for the inside of the mouth as well. You also have a light tone moving along the underside. The nails are painted, and then you have more orange back here. As you move through the body, it actually runs all the way out onto the tail. So honestly, like, I do have to give them props when it comes to the dinosaurs that they have in their line. Grossmos definitely doesn't hold back when it comes to the paint application, looking, when it comes to the actual paint, better than a lot of the Mattel figures that are out there. But the detailing of the figures is actually pretty impressive. You can see quite a bit of variation to the scales and stuff, and even moving down into the body, it's really quite crisp and overall fairly impressive looking as a whole. So again, even though they're very clearly very exaggerated, sort of goofy looking dinosaurs, they're pretty nicely done as far as honestly every aspect. So let's go ahead, pop another one open and see if we can complete this line. And the next one we have is the Stegosaurus. What is going on? How am I just getting all the ones that I need right out of the gate? That's crazy. I mean, I shouldn't say that in a way where it sounds like I'm complaining, because trust me, I'm really not. But it's just super impressive to me. This never happens. And there we go. There is our Stegosaurus now assembled. He's got a pretty massive head. But when it comes to these figures, I don't think I should be complaining about proportions or anything. But again, the Stegosaurus definitely looks kind of cool. You can see the head sculpt looks okay. Pretty ugly seam moving through the head, but I think they all pretty much have that. We've got a nice variation of brown for the primary body color. You do have some darker browns moving over the top of the head and over the top of the body, with some yellowish spots and stripes moving through the back there. A lighter tone of brown as we move up into the plates as well. And you can see that this one actually has some kind of awkward teeth on the inside of the mouth, which are painted with a black, which makes them even weirder. But definitely a Stegosaurus that I wouldn't want to be bitten by. But one thing I will say, the tail doesn't stay on very well. It pops off super easily. I feel like I'm going to have to glue that one on or something. But you can see the nails are painted. And again, the actual detail is pretty impressive on this. If my camera focuses, there we go. You can see, again, quite highly detailed when it comes to the sculpt. This one technically has more articulation than some of the others, because you can turn the head, all four legs, and then the tail can kind of wiggle a little bit, but it basically just falls right off. So I think, again, some glue might be needed for that one. But we do have the thagomizers as well, painted with that black tone, and then you also have a light tone that moves along the underside. Overall, again, a pretty ridiculous looking Stegosaurus, but fairly cool as a whole. Definitely fits the theme of this line, that's for sure. So now, if I get the Parasaurolophus next, my mind will definitely be blown, because that's the only one that I believe that I need still would be the Parasaurolophus. So we'll see what comes next. I feel like the odds are not in my favor, but so far the very first 3 I opened were the 3 that I needed, so I mean, we're kind of heading toward that trend, but let's go ahead and see what we have, and it's the Dilophosaurus. Oh, you had to mess it up, didn't you, you stupid Dilophosaurus? Get out. Out of the skull. All of your parts. I think that's all of your parts. And there is the Dilophosaurus now assembled. We did look at this one previously, so no need to go over that one again. A little bit of a Jurassic Park sort of a look going on with that one, so let's see what we've got this time. So, who's inside this one? I actually still don't know. Maybe this is the... Oh, it is the Parasaurolophus! Oh, if I had just grabbed this before the other one, then I could have went straight through the line and got them all on my first try, but that Dilophosaurus had to come in and mess it up, so at least exciting to know that I now have definitely completed my line of figures. So there is the Parasaurolophus, and as we can see, it's got kind of an interesting look to it. Again, nicely painted eyes, pretty much the same style paintwork that we have on all of them, except this time we have a nice green for the eyes. We've got a few different variations of browns. I like that we have a darker shade of brown there on the beak, but a lighter brown as you move up into the crest. The detail, again, is honestly really impressive for these figures, just basically being exaggerated dinosaur toys. Like, I have to give Grossmos their props because they definitely sculpted out some pretty highly detailed figures, and you see that as you move down into the body, you continue to see, again, very impressive fine detail. We do have a different shade of brown on the body compared to the arms, legs, and even the head, so it's a little bit of a lighter shade. You have this really cool kind of blue-green striping that actually leads into the legs, and if we line them up correctly, you can see that that patterning then matches up with the legs as it moves down into the thigh. We also have a yellowish tone there in the lower jaw that moves along the underside. The nails are all painted on the figure as well, which is definitely a plus. And there's even a really light stripe that kind of moves down along the body, again, just for a little extra variation of color. This one, again, can kind of articulate the head because it actually pops on like this, so you technically have the ability to articulate it a little bit, sort of turn it, at least in one direction, and then again the arms and legs and stuff, and then the body is kind of soft and squishy, so you can technically like bend the tail. But still a pretty cool, quite exaggerated and goofy Parasaurolophus. But at this point now, I don't know if there's really even much of a need for me to open the other 4 because I now have already completed my line, but I guess we'll just pop them all open really quickly to see if maybe we got the entire line right here in one shot. So I've gone ahead and unwrapped most of them, but I think I'm just going to keep one back there just the way it is and just keep it original. Something as far as like, you know, a collector's piece, I guess, goes. I don't need to open them all since I already have them all now, but we'll see who's in this one. This one actually is another figure that we don't have over here. Which one is this? Is this the Pachycephalosaurus or the T-Rex? Oh, it's the Pachycephalosaurus. Okay, so let's just dump all of that out. And then we'll see who's in this one. That is the... I think that's the big Ceratopsian we have over here. So yeah, that one is technically a repeat. That is this guy right here. So we already have him out, which means we don't need to mess with that one either. And then we'll see who we have in here. That is the T-Rex, so we're actually very close to being able to complete the line again right here. And unfortunately, the only other one that I have is this one back here, which I didn't open, but we can kind of get a sneak peek just to see if maybe we did... Oh, look at that, it is the other Ceratopsian in there. So technically, I did re-complete the line now, as I was able to acquire all 4 of the ones that I already had, along with the 4 that I did not have. So I'm just going to assemble these guys really quickly. So there we go, there is the complete line, minus the one Triceratops being out of the skull back there, because I'm just going to keep him in, but we have already taken a look at the other Triceratops, the other Ceratopsian in my first review. But as you can see, again, these Grossmos figures are pretty cool. They're definitely quite highly detailed and very exaggerated looking, but overall I feel like Grossmos did a pretty good job on these. Again, the sculpts are very highly detailed. They actually have some pretty nice paint apps. They've got a fun playability to them, even featuring some articulation, and overall just an enjoyable experience, basically. grabbing these figures. Again, I don't know if they're going to be going on sale at any point in the near future, but it's, a few times I've seen them kind of on sale, so I would just keep an eye out if you haven't acquired any of these and you are interested in getting them for a decent price. But I think they actually lowered the price to around $6 or so, $6 or $7, so even at that price range, they're still not a bad deal. Again, fairly sizable for being in that price range. So check them out at Target, Walmart. There are a few places you can buy them. They even pop up on Amazon. Grab them if you want them, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.